In breaking news, the Supreme Court just dealt Donald Trump a major loss, and I have his very unhinged reaction for you next. Let's jump right in with MS Now breaking the story live. A New York Times report on how Chief Justice Roberts rebuked our rogue president, and CNN reporting on Trump's meltdown.
And once again, this decision day could include their blockbuster decision on President Trump's tariffs. Hundreds of billions of dollars are on the line for mega corporations, small businesses, and American consumers. Fallon, the biggest of all these undecided cases at this moment is the president's tariffs. Remind us what's at stake.
Yeah, Anna, the Supreme Court is weighing whether or not the president can use that 1977 law, IEEPA, to impose his tariffs. And I am hearing from our producer inside that we did just get that decision, and I'm reading it right now. It appears that the Supreme Court is ruling that IEEPA does not authorize the president to impose the tariffs. The lower case is vacated and sent back with instructions to dismiss for lack of jurisdiction. I'm looking to see what the breakdown is here. This is a Roberts decision from the Chief Justice. This appears to be a 5-4 decision that IEEPA, the president does not have the authority to impose tariffs.
3 dissenting justices here, so that there is a dissent from Justice Thomas on his own behalf. There's also a dissent from Justice Kavanaugh, in which both Justice Thomas and Justice Alito join. But with respect to the majority opinion, or what we would call the majority opinion, this is going to be like Planned Parenthood versus Casey, or some of the other major Supreme Court decisions in which we're going to have to look at which parts of the decision different justices join in.
And as you're doing that, Lisa, let me just clarify, because, again, this is all happening in real time. We're looking at it. It's a 6-3 decision, correct?
That seems as if it is a 6-3 decision as to major aspects of the holding, but not all aspects of the holding. So,
live updates. Supreme Court strikes down Trump's sweeping tariffs. In a major setback for President Trump's economic agenda, the court ruled that he could not invoke the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 to set tariffs on imports. The Supreme Court ruled on Friday that President Trump exceeded his authority when he imposed sweeping tariffs on imports from nearly every U.S. trading partner, a major setback for his administration's second-term agenda. The court's 6-3 decision has significant implications for the U.S. economy, consumers, and the president's trade policy. The Trump administration had said that a loss at the Supreme Court could force the government to unwind trade deals with other countries and potentially pay hefty refunds to importers. Mr. Trump is the first president to claim that a 1970s emergency statute, which does not mention the word tariffs, allowed him to unilaterally impose the duties without congressional approval. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice John G. Roberts, Jr. said the statute does not authorize the president to impose tariffs. The president asserts the extraordinary power to unilaterally impose tariffs of unlimited amount, duration, and scope. In light of the breadth, history, and constitutional context of that asserted authority, he must identify clear congressional authorization to exercise it, the Chief Justice wrote. Under the 1970s-era law, the president has the authority to take certain steps in response to a national emergency to deal with any unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security, foreign policy, or economy of the United States. That includes the power to regulate the importation of foreign property. Past presidents have relied on that language to place sanctions or embargoes on other countries, but not to impose taxes. But the administration has argued that phrase also gives Mr. Trump the power to levy tariffs.
Yeah, Pamela, we still have no official reaction from the White House or President Trump. We are waiting. I am told that they are meeting, discussing how they are going to respond. But we have learned more about what happened in the room when President Trump was with those governors and he learned of the Supreme Court decision. Apparently, the breakfast had been going well. They were working together. And then President Trump became enraged. He started ranting about the decision, not only calling it a disgrace, but started attacking the courts, at one point saying, "These effing courts," but using the actual language there. We know that President Trump does use expletives on quite often when he is enraged in particular. Now, this, of course, comes as this tariff policy. This could not be a bigger decision for President Trump. This could not be a bigger loss for President Trump. Not only is so much of his economic agenda based on these tariffs, so much of his foreign policy is based on these tariffs. He has used these tariffs as leverage in almost every meeting that he has had around the world. He has touted them as the most important part of the economic agenda. So clearly a huge loss, and he recognizes that today. Pamela?
All right, Kristen Hall.
And there you have it. Donald Trump has decision derangement syndrome, making it a wonderful day for our democracy. As I try to get my voice back, please hit that subscribe button for updates on this story and much, much more from Occupy Democrats.